last week?
Wednesday?
To Paul. What did Paul do?
Oh, he didn't listen.
He didn't listen. That's right. Paul was told 3 times by God, the prophetesses, the 4 women that prophesied. They were not preachers. We don't believe in women preachers. But we do believe in women prophesying. And in the future, God said that He would pour His Spirit upon all. Old men will have dreams. Young men will have visions, or back and forth. And everybody's going to have something. This is the time that we're getting closer to. And Paul, he has a burden. His burden is for his people. His burden for his people is so great that he basically comes out to this and says it. I guess the best way to put it is put it like this. God, I understand what you're trying to tell me. And Father, I understand it. I know you don't want me to do this. I know it's wrong. I absolutely know it's wrong. You've told me 3 times it's wrong. But I'm going to do it anyway. Because I believe if I go, I can help the people of Israel. Now, that's a man that has confidence in his ability. The only problem is that every preacher and every person has confidence. You should have confidence. But confidence in who?
God.
Susie sells for me. She's been working there for a while, so she's finally starting to figure it out. Took her a while. She's slow. And, so she's starting to make a little money. Okay? So she's making money. Sometimes she makes pretty good money. But it's not her ability. And it's not because she's been trained, even though she's been trained and so forth. It is because of God. God gave her that ability. No matter what you boys wind up becoming, it is because of God. It is not because of your fantastic mind. If you're going to become an auto mechanic or whatever, well, the torque is this and this and that and this, and according to the book it says this, but of course, that other guy said it needs to be this and that and this and this. And that's why the ability was trained, was given to you, but who's the one that gave it to you?
God.
Who's God? And so you can be the very best mechanic and mess everything up. And no matter what you repair, it breaks. You're the best mechanic in the world. But every time you touch a car, you don't go nowhere. Why? God gives you the ability. He gives you the strength to go on. We start off as babies. Someone has to take care of us. We get older, way older, and we become just like babies. Somebody has to take care of us. We don't want to admit it, and a few of us get to avoid it, and we get to take care of ourselves, not as well as we had hoped, but we do. And we we don't need that, but the ability comes from God. So Paul basically tells God, listen, I got it. You've given me the power, the touch of God. You've given me the messages. You've given me the experience. You've given me how to present the gospel. There is a certain way of doing things. It's like learning how to pull out a transmission. Again, we go back to the car analogy. You know, there's some transmissions you have to pull the whole motor out before you get to the transmission. Other cars you don't. Everyone is different. Paul has learned all the techniques of his trade, which is building tents and preaching. So he tells God, now, I will have more respect. People will respect me more if I go back to my old church. I shave my head. I get ready for the festival. But somebody sees him with a Gentile. Now, we're all considered Gentiles, so somebody, let's say I was Paul, and they see me with Jeremy, and they go, that's a Gentile right there. That's a dog. He's only allowed in the Gentile square. They can worship God, but they're only allowed to go so close. All right, that's it. It's not like having the good seats. You don't get the front row seats. You get the way in the back. You can't even pay anybody to get the good seats. They're sold out. You got to know somebody to know somebody that knows somebody to get inside. All right, so you're not getting in because you're a Gentile. So Paul goes in. Everything goes fine for how many days? 7 days. On the 7th day, when the festival is just about over, somebody goes, hey, that's Paul. And he's got a Gentile dog, and he's bringing him into the temple. Well, first of all, no. He was bringing him to the outside. But this man made it seem like he basically lied. Can you believe people lie? What? Can you believe that?
Not these
People lie. And they don't just lie. We call it, in human terminology, stretching the truth. It's true, but we like to kind of put a little pizzazz in there, sprinkle it. And so, what do they do with Paul? Well, the first thing they do is the Gentiles arrest him. Then they start beating and kicking and punching and hitting on Paul. Paul is being hit. He is going to die. And they went about to kill him. Acts 21:31. The whole city was moved. They're all running together. They've shut the doors. And basically, they're going to kill this man. He's going to die. So that the country that was in charge, they sent soldiers, Israel. And it was not the Israelites, it was the soldiers. And they took soldiers and centurions and ran down with them. And when they saw the chief captain and the soldiers, and left beating of Paul. They stopped beating him up. Why? They saw the Roman soldiers. They said, maybe it's a bad thing, hitting this guy. And, so they're beating him up. As soon as they see the Roman soldiers, they kick him one more time. They kick Paul, punch him in the face one more time. That's enough. And they quit. And the chief captain came near, took him, and commanded him to be bound with 2 chains, and demanded who he was. Who the heck are you? And why are all these people wanting to kill you? Well, if I was the sheriff, Harris County Sheriff, and I see 100 people whooping up on you, and then they all stop beating up on you when I arrive, all right, I want to know, what did you do to these people? Did you cuss them out? Did did you rob them? Did you do something that upset them? Did you say something negative? What'd you do? All right? And some cried one thing, another cried another thing, and nobody really knows. They're all accusing him of all kinds of stuff. He commanded to be carried unto the castle. Why is he being carried? Because he cannot walk. He has been beaten so badly. Okay? This isn't a boxing match. This isn't the iron cage, what's that one where they hug each other, what is it, they hug, they're hugging each other and, trying to punch each other out, hugging to death, it's not, it's called, it's boxing. Boxing is a skill, all right?
Art.
So it's an art. It's learning. It's not just fighting and hitting. Anybody can hit. Boxing is learning when to hit, how to protect yourself, when to back up, when to go forward. Everything is learned. This guy's so beat up, they got to carry him. And they came upon the stairs, so it was, and he was borne to the soldiers for the violence of the people. And the multitude of the people followed after, crying, "Away with him! Get this guy away from us! Get him away! Get him away!" And as Paul was led in the castle, the chief captain, and he says, "Can I speak to you?" Who said, "Can thou speak Greek?" He said, so he's asking Paul, "Can you talk Greek?" Because Paul wants to talk to the main soldier. Remember, Paul's got a plan. The plan is, go to the temple, stay for the feast, preach, and lots of people are going to get saved. That's the plan. So he says, "Oh, you know Greek." He said, "Art thou not that Egyptian?" So first of all, the captain doesn't even know who this guy is, Paul. Why are they beating him up? It's got to be that Egyptian. That guy is always causing problems. So I remember one time we were in church and the police showed up. And there was 2 brothers. Gave the invitation, and all of a sudden the back door opened up and the police were all gone. I looked up, I see the police, I closed my eyes, I prayed, and then the back door opened up, and the 2 guys that were there, laying down praying, took off. And they arrested one. But it was the wrong one. It was the other brother that had the warrant, not that brother. So, the police don't even know who Paul is. Who are you? Are you that Egyptian that causes all these problems? And you took 4,000 men who were murderers into the wilderness? Is that you? Are you the guy that did all that? Apparently this Egyptian has a pretty bad reputation, and they think it's Paul. So the worst man that they can think of, they think it's got to be you. It's got to be him. Why? Because because of his reputation. Paul said, no, I'm a Jew. And I come from a town, Tarsus. And the citizens, it's not a mean city. We don't go around beating people up. And when he was given license, Paul stood on the stairs and beckoned with his hand to the people. And there was a great silence, and he spake unto them with the Hebrew tongue, saying, now he's going to get to his message. That's Acts chapter number 22. You can read Acts chapter number 22 if you would like. But basically, Paul gets up and starts preaching. Who's he preaching to? All the Jews. The Jews are there. He's a preaching. They're listening. The high priest are listening. Alright? They're all there. And finally, he can't think of what to preach. He's been hit in the head one time too many. So, what does he decide to do? You go with what you know. What's the one thing that you know the best? That is your testimony. And so Paul surely said, if they hear my testimony, they're going to listen to me. Now here's the testimony. All right, you got to pay attention now, boys. Listen to me. All right. First of all, you're a Jew. Second of all, you don't believe in the Messiah. Third of all, you don't believe he's the Son of God. Fourth, you believe Paul is a guy starting problems and trying to pollute the temple. So you don't like the speaker. You don't like who he's talking about. You don't like nothing. And then Paul gets up there and starts talking about this and talking about that. And they're all listening. Then he gives them his testimony. He says, I was headed down to town. I was headed to this city. And I was going to go kill more Christians. You know, because we hate Christians, right? Yeah, we all hate Christians, right? And then all of a sudden, I heard a voice. And the voice said, you know, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? Why do you kick against the pricks? And he gave him his testimony. And then he said, who art thou, Lord? And he said, Jesus. Oh, the people went crazy. There is no way that Jesus could get up and say this. It's a lie. Remember, you have all these people in church. They're in a Jewish church. They're not Christians. They're Jews. They hate his testimony. How dare God choose Jesus Christ as the Messiah? Now, this supposedly has saved many Jews have heard this, and many Gentiles have heard this same message. And he pulls out the message, and they're getting saved left and right. But now, guess what? They're booing him. They're booing him. And he answered, who art thou, Lord? And he said, I heard, I saw a light. I was afraid, and what shall I do, Lord? And, he's telling them everything that's happened, how he got baptized. And it came to pass when he was come again to Jerusalem, and saw him say unto me, make haste and get quickly out of Jerusalem, for the will not receive my testimony concerning me. And I said, Lord, they know that I am in prison, beaten every synagogue, and they believed on thee. And when the blood of martyr Stephen was shed, I was also standing and consented unto his death. In other words, I was there when they killed Stephen. They're out there, and he said unto me, depart, for I will send thee. So far they're listening. Paying attention. They're listening. Okay, keep talking, keep talking. Okay, God's talking to you. His name is Jesus. He's going to save you. Yeah, He's going to use you. He's going to use you to go save other people to become Christians. Sure, maybe this Jesus is the Messiah. After all, He did cause, miracles. We do really believe this. All right, so far, everything's going fine. His testimony's going fine. And then all of a sudden, they gave him audience until Acts 22:21. He said, I was there when they killed Stephen. I consented. I helped kill him. Why? Because he was a Christian. They're listening. He said, I kept his raiment of them that slew him. I kept his clothes, his coat. They're listening. And he said unto me, depart. He's talking about God. For I will send thee far from hence unto the Gentiles. And they gave him audience unto this word, then lifted up their voices and said, away with such a fellow from the earth, for he is not fit that he should live. And they cried out, cast off their clothes, threw dust into the air. I mean, these people are going nuts. You say, what are they doing? They've stopped listening. What do you mean go to the Gentiles? They can't know God. This isn't God's plan. We don't believe you anymore. You're lying. And they began to say, oh, get this guy away from us. Let's kill the guy. They start throwing dirt up in the air, dust up in the air. They start taking off their clothes. These people are a little upset. Why? They do not want to hear the truth. Did you know you can get somebody so mad? So mad. They don't want to hear you. Why would you do that? When you're out there door knocking and you're inviting people to come to church, and they say, I'm a Mormon, I'm a Jehovah's Witness, I come from Venus, my parents live in Jupiter, whatever, okay, whatever they tell you. You know what you say? Okay, well, we just wanted to invite you to church. Here's a tract. No, I don't want that tract. Okay, no problem. The book does say, though, there's only one way to heaven. Jesus said, I'm the way, the truth, and the light. No man cometh to the Father but by me. Get off my property. Bye. Not everybody is going to want to hear about Christ. Not everybody is going to want to hear about Christ, and you can knock on 100 doors, and if God don't get in on it, they will not listen. God never got into this. Nobody got saved. Not one person. You get a room of 1,000 people and you preach to them, there's a good chance, if he's a good preacher, that one person will at least come down and get saved, even in today's society. It used to be a time that 200 or 300 would get saved at one time. Of course, you have to invite 200 or 300 for 200 or 300 to get saved. wouldn't get saved. Nobody. Why? Their hearts are hard. They don't believe. Your magical testimony, preaching, they don't believe you. Your lifestyle, they don't believe you. They look at your lifestyle and they go, yeah, right, you're a Christian. You want me to go to your church? You're going to be crazy. You? You want me to become like you? No. I want the real deal. And they don't want it. Christianity, Paul found out that it's not the words. It's not the timing. It's not the truth. It has to have God. The message must have God. No touch of God, no one gets saved. It's real simple. So, I admire you if you knock on doors. I admire you if you hand out tracts. I admire you trying to live for God. But they're not going to get saved until God gets in on it. When He does, they'll start coming. And they'll start getting saved. Father, we love you. I pray, God, Lord, you touch it. Touch the Sunday school. Help us in the service. In Jesus' precious name.